Hey, Hot Nerd Network, welcome back to the ultimate destination to celebrate diverse personalities from the real world to the fantasy one. I'm Hot Nerd Syd, your guide through the captivating worlds of fandom, and I'm joined again by our resident survivor expert, Hot Nerd Krystal. Say what's up.
I am back once again. I am liking being the resident hot nerd survivor person.
Yes, you are, and we love you for it. We are really excited to get into episode 4 of Survivor 45 because, we got to have a
We
different
had a
side
great
of
hot
the
nerd network took a field trip and boy was it worth it.
Where did we went to Bryce and Wynn presents Washington D.C. Both Krystal and I are PG County natives, and they came to our city. They came to Washington D.C. This was my second time going to a Bryce and Wynn presents, but
First time for
Krystal,
me.
yeah, how'd you
It's
like
one of the
it?
greatest days of my life, guys. It's not a joke. It's a top 10 day for me. Top 10. Top
Wow.
10.
I would hope because of some other reasons too, but yes, I love the fact that you got to see so many of your
I mean,
Survivor
it was
favorites.
so what I didn't know is that all these different people would be like I knew Bryce and Wendell would be there and I know Wendell's a survivor winner.
Right.
That's exciting. And I also knew a bunch of survivor fans would be there. Already I'm sold.
Yeah.
We get there, Jared Fields, Cerie's son is there.
Yep.
I've been watching Big Brother, as I've said. I've only watched the last this is the third season I've watched. I haven't seen anything
Oh, I
beforehand.
didn't realize.
The season that got me hooked, which is the cookout season,
Yep.
my favorite cookout member was present, Hannah
Who was
Chada.
it? Yeah.
I love you, girl. I told you this in person. I love you again. We should tag you in. Love you, girl.
Yes. We will
Girl, the
tag
picture looked great. Boom. She was there. Oz was there from the cookout.
Yes.
Then Mimi or McCole, who just got voted out a couple weeks ago, present because she also lives in upper. She lives in PG County.
Blah, blah, blah. Yes.
Eliza from freaking season 9 of Survivor,
Been a
present. We
while.
had an OG. She looks great. To have played about 20 years ago, she looked phenomenal.
Amazing. So
Um,
beautiful.
she looked incredible. Obviously, Wendell was there. Bryce was there. Bruce.
Bruce from this season and last one. But
Bruce,
yes.
that's in there right now, was there in person today. That day. Geo loved him.
Gio was so sweet, so sweet. I mean, because he got some screen time, but to like meet him in person, it's like,
He's
yeah,
so
I would have
fun.
wanted
I
to
love him.
work
He was
with
actually like
you.
my favorite, one of my favorite interactions. And then Carla, she's a badass. She seemed like a badass on TV. She's even more of a badass in person. Like
Ah,
incredible. Oh my gosh. Ah,
it was amazing. And yeah,
ah.
I completely fangirled over Bryce. I could not even like contain myself because he's just one of the funniest people to
He
me.
is funny.
Like one of the funniest. So just to interact with him in person, I think was just it's like taking like a parasocial relationship and like putting it into play. And it was just
That's
like this is
exactly what it was. Yes.
overwhelming. This is so overwhelming. And
I've
then
been looking at my pictures. Like I find myself like at least once a day being like, oh, man, look at these. Look at me. Like I said it to all my friends the next day. Like guys, you'll never believe because they also all know I'm obsessed too.
right.
Everybody's saying I need to print out the picture of me and Hannah Chada and frame it. And honestly, I very much might do that.
Yes, because she's a babby. No, it was I might do the same with Wendell because
That picture of Window was iconic too, for sure.
a
Yeah.
winner in our midst, like I had and probably still do have the biggest crush on
Understandably so. He's such a
on
smooth guy too. He's so smooth.
come on, not even Survivor 40 villain edit could change the way I felt. Okay, like so to just see, just he's so charismatic. Like you could understand. I mean, both him and all of them. You could understand why they had the success that they did on the island, and honestly, why they get picked for the show. Like even just being in the crowd there, and I know that they have been through the show, they've been on Survivor, but you can really understand like how they're different from just like regular people because
Yep.
even just as a regular person, you think that you know what it takes to like
Hmm.
be out on that island to make the connections that you want to make. But even just
Hmm.
talking to the BB players, I felt like her name is BB, right?
Yep.
Like she was even saying to us, like, "Oh no, what one of the hardest things." I know this is Big Brother, not Survivor.
Yep.
One of the
Yep.
hardest things is keeping up relationships, and yeah, I can imagine how exhausting that piece could be. And you can see how all of the survivors were naturally good at that because the way they were handling us fans, I don't think none of them ever made me feel like they felt like they
I
were too
agree.
good for us,
I agree, and that's what was so cool is, like, they are normal people,
Yeah,
obviously, because everybody's a person,
right.
but then they also are these people that we've watched on TV and know all this information about, and we're strangers to them, and they were
Yes,
still so willing to, like, give us even more of their inner thoughts and what they think and
yes.
learn about us, like, I feel like Hannah, for sure, like, made a point of remembering people's names, which I think is
Yes,
really cool. She's gotta be meeting millions of people,
all
and
the time.
I know the group after I talked to her, I guess she had met before. She's like, "Oh my gosh, like, I remember you, like, this and that," like, I
Yes,
think it's so great. Like it only takes a little bit of time. They invited us out with them afterwards, like
right.
Gio and all that. You know, like they were so cool. They really
It
were
was
all so cool.
so
Yeah,
so cool. So, yeah, that was Crystal's first, my second, definitely not our last.
not
This
even.
is gonna be like Bryce and Wynn, please keep doing this. I know that y'all have your world tour. I know that that takes a lot of work, but it's so worth it, and we felt so welcome. So, thank you so much. Did it help in terms of being able to dissect the
Man.
episode? Maybe not. It's so fun to be able to experience the episode with other fans. Shout out to Survivor DC. Met them,
Mhm.
didn't even know that that was a thing until that night. But it was just so cool to experience, tribal council with everybody, to experience the
Tribal, we
immunity
started paying
challenge.
attention again. Remember,
You said what?
we started paying attention. We started paying attention
Oh yeah,
again at the
we started
tribal.
paying mad attention. And it felt, I mean, we were talking about, didn't it feel like we were watching like some sort of sports game? Like, this is our football. This is
That
our
was our Super
football.
Bowl. That was our Super Bowl.
Come on, come on, come on. And everybody, it's so cool because every fan, like, you're able, like, what's your favorite season? Who's your favorite player? Like, people know this. Like, this is such a niche, but deep, 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 deep community. These people are in it. So,
It was so cool. It was so good. Like I would be smiling about this for a long time. I had therapy today, and I was like, girl, Survivor. Like I was like, girl, I had to tell somebody again because I just can't believe.
I was on the phone with my dad, like, afterwards, like, I cannot believe just nerding out. He has no idea who I'm saying,
Literally,
what
that's
I'm
what
talking
yeah,
about.
I'm like, the people don't get it. They don't
Okay.
understand.
But the people that do get it. So, no,
And
it
we
was a
appreciate
wonderful night.
and we
Say again?
appreciate the people that get it.
Yes, we do. Hopefully, there's a lot that are currently watching us right now. And yeah, we are ready. Let's go ahead and get into the episode because we did watch it afterwards. So no
Yep.
worries there. I am
I
caught
got a
up.
little gaps, but I pretty much know what happened. I know the important stuff.
The importance of, and one of the most important things that we have to talk about, breaking news, is unfortunately we have our second quit of the new era closely behind our first one,
Let me
Sean.
to not play devil's advocate, but to give another side to it.
Okay.
Is it the fact that he kept losing? Like the Hannah girl quits because she's on Lulu losers, and honestly, she had the right idea because they kept losing.
Yep.
Then they do a swap trop. They all go to different tribes, and Sean. That means one of them was going to be on a losing tribe again. It was Sean. He was already on the bottom when he went to the new tribe.
Yep.
I saw on Reddit. I haven't listened to any other podcasts or anything. I saw on Reddit that people said, do you think he fell on his sword just so he didn't have to like actually get voted out rather than like he like took his power back and being like, just send me home rather because he knew he was going to go home and
I
it looked like he had some of his power back or he really was ready to go.
the only reason why I think that's not the case is
Hmm.
just the sense that, like, we saw so plainly and clearly that they were going to vote Sifu. Just D even still being convinced, like, oh, maybe he's playing this up so that the Sifu blind side is able to go through. Like, you had Julie, D, and Jake Maya that were ready to write Sifu's name down. I don't see how Sean would have gone out if it wasn't for him own self engineering the quit. You know what I
I
mean? So
don't know though because if we think about it, Sifu going home doesn't make any sense. He was the strongest player in the challenge. He's the strongest
true.
player on that tribe. And even though they keep showing Seafood trying to be this like annoying character, which I can believe that to be
Yeah.
true. He might be annoying his
His
tribe
captain.
mates,
Yeah. Mhm.
but in this point of the game, you still need people that's strong, and he's the strongest person on that tribe.
Yeah.
Also, if we think about it, though, we come into the episode. Sean's blindsided.
Yes.
He's grabbing for rocks. Babe. That opening scene, he was throwing everything, trying to. Oh my
My
gosh!
gosh.
Like he was working hard. He was working hard.
He was, and it's so interesting. So I did watch um, I watched Know It Alls. I watched Know
Mhm,
It Alls because I had the benefit of watching the episode, Thursday. So I watched Know It Alls Thursday, and one, Stephen Fishback is hilarious because he is so mad, but he was making the good point that typically in the Survivor zeitgeist community of strategy,
mhm.
that Sean did what you were supposed to do. You're supposed to come back. You're not supposed to be like
I said
overly
that. Yep, 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 I agree.
you're supposed to grovel. You're supposed to be like, I hope we can move forward together. I'm with y'all to the end. He did
Mhm,
that. It didn't seem to really work though. And I think that this is we're probably starting to turn a new leaf, like from Drew telling everything and being able to build strategy off of that. Like I'm starting to realize that there's an authentic, like there's a bit of authenticity that needs to be had when playing this game of Survivor,
yes,
this in the new era. Because in the
yes.
past, like that would really turn somebody off, right? To be overly mad. But both Caleb and Emily were like, I'm not believing this. I just don't trust him for a second because now all of a sudden Sabaya is the new leader. He never wanted to get either of us
Mhm,
out. Like
mhm.
what? Like what would you have done though? Like I don't know what else I would have
He
done.
did do the right thing, and then he got tribe swapped, and so it shouldn't have even really mattered in the first place.
Yeah, but it happened to it. And to your question about like, is was it too much? I mean, again, we say it every single episode. Neither of us have been out there. Neither of
Correct.
us have been out there. I really wanna go out there. I
I'm sure
really wanna test the limits just so I can stand more firmly in this, but I have to go back to other players. I'm sorry, Denise, Survivor, Philippines, Survivor 25 Philippines, she went to every single tribal council and
Mhm.
won, and that is the mark of an incredible player. So it's just I can't accept the fact that it's like,
I think
"Oh,
they're
we
just
got it
weak.
hard."
I think this cast has some softness to them. I don't know what casting was like this cycle, but a lot of them are just but again, I bring up the fact that Sean lost again because that means he still hasn't had food and he's been to tribal all the time and this and that. And I get what you're saying of Denise went to every tribal ends up winning. Obviously Denise was mentally stronger than Sean is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, yes.
So,
To
and that's what I mean of being soft is like they're in their mind. Like they cannot push past the adversity. It's been what, 10
no,
days?
no.
If you
It's
can stand 16 more days, if this is the worst day, if you can stand this for 16 more days, you could be a millionaire.
absolutely. It's so interesting to me because it's like I wonder um when it comes to not even I wonder, a quote pops out to me from this episode from Julie. I'm starting to
Mhm,
get her name. When the tribe swap actually happened, she
mhm.
had said this incredible quote where she was like the tribe swap is what separates good players from great ones. And I was like, "Whoa, that is very
What
interesting."
do you take that to mean?
I mean, I take it to mean that like, hey, Jeff, I understand that quitting is very upsetting. And it might seem as if, oh, they wasted a spot or anything like that. But
Mhm,
obviously, to your point, Denise was mentally stronger than Sean, was mentally stronger than Hannah, was mentally stronger than a lot of these people that continue to go through adversity but still can end up a winner of this.
mhm.
And as you continue to go through, even like them taking the flint overly, that means that to your point, Sean went 9 days without fire, in a sense. So to go 9 days without fire, in a sense, 9 days without food or water, in a sense, like, yeah, he was not strong enough to be able to push fully through. And I that's what I take Julie's comment to mean. He was a good player, but maybe he just wasn't a great one.
Got you. I don't know. Because I wonder if he would have quit. If he would have been on a winning tribe, do we think he would have quit?
No, I don't think so. But that's
And
the
that's
whole
what's
point.
weak. That's what's weak minded about it.
Yes. I think it would have been I think he would have been able to hold on to some grain of sanity if he had some sort of food or water, some sort of fire in his system. I mean, that's why you see it was so interesting. Peridium had done this really great video about like
Mhm.
the most unfair tribal advantages. And most
Mm,
of them were just the fact that once a once a tribe starts to win, it's very easy for them to continue to win because you're getting one fire. Now you're
Mhm.
getting fish supplies.
Mm.
Now you're getting
Yep.
food rewards. Like you keep sustaining yourself and you're able to mentally think at
Mhm.
that point. I
Mhm.
thought that even just zooming back to Survivor 41 with Shan, you know,
Mhm.
she was really, really a good microcosm of again who I think I would play like in the new era
Mhm.
because she literally got hangry. Like she was
Yeah.
angry,
Yeah. Yeah.
at certain points. And it's like that can really mess up your game. And so I'm not like vilifying Sean in a sense, but just to call a spade a spade. Yeah, it
It
did.
is. It's an observation, and it's a tough criticism. Well, we might have been on Wendell's live or Instagram story because he took our reactions to it in live time, and I know for a fact on camera I said, "Boo! I think this boo. This is stinks. This stinks." Um, it just, especially since we weren't paying attention to that first watch. What I really remember was we had the opening scene. He's groveling, trying to get back in good graces. The tribe swap happens. He's on a separate tribe from everybody else. He loses. Now you're at final tribal, and you're making this plea. At first, we were like, "Is this a joke? Did we miss the part where they planned this
Right.
to be the really
You said
blindside?"
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
we were like, "Is this a joke?" So we're all watching, like, what's happening? Like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Then he really gets voted out, and like he really meant it. He's talking about he misses his husband, and this is what's important to me. Da 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 da. You're bro, y'all can't be away from y'all spouses for 26 days, 30 days. Y'all got to marriage is forever. You can't be away from your spouse for a month.
It was a cop out. It was a cop out. It was so clear. Like I felt like and again, this is a character we're seeing on screen. I need to stop
Mhm.
prefacing everything. But like if I felt the inauthenticity that Caleb and Emily have been talking about at the beginning of the episode. Obviously, Sean was trying to wrap up in a nice bow to us. I can't take this anymore. I need to leave with the gift wrapping paper of I've gotten everything that I need out of this journey and I miss my husband. It's like, um,
Boo.
what? Because Jeff asked the most pertinent question. What's the difference between going back to your husband after 9 days versus 26 days? You know, and he had to even skirt around that question, which didn't make any freaking
Jeff
sense.
looked pissed. When he
Oh,
started making that plea, Jeff looked
he is
pissed.
so pissed. And Rob has a podcast made the perfect point that they don't even go back home immediately. Everybody who goes pre-merge goes to
Mhm.
Ponderosa, and then
Mhm.
once the merge starts, they go on a um like a pre-merge boot trip, like to Thailand or something like
Oh,
that.
really? That's kind of cool.
Yeah, because they don't want anybody spoiling anything before the
Right.
season has wrapped. So they don't go home. You're not going back to your
They just
husband,
wanted to be in a bed and have their vapes and their cake and eat it too, basically.
pretty
Like,
much, and to be able to I don't even know. I don't even know if they have access to phones, at that point in time. So
that's fair.
so it just felt like a whole bunch of fluff and a cry for help in the sense of I need to get out of here.
But
And
again, do we think it's not because he was on the bottom and he had been losing? He had been on the bottom. He kept losing. He says it at the beginning of the episode where he's like, "I just went from being on top of the world to now being on the bottom," and
yeah.
he's basically saying it's a scary feeling.
Oh
I
yeah.
get it.
I get it. I
I
get
think
it so much.
I think he might have actually still been the vote. I actually do think he might have been the vote.
It's fair. It's fair to think that. That's what Rob thinks.
I
I
think
think I'm
he
on
was the
the
vote,
side where I think
and
it was
I
secret.
do think he said because I'm going home anyways. I do think it might have been an attempt at taking his power back because if you listen to how the
Yeah.
whole episode really gave us Sean's viewpoint,
Yeah.
and so it doesn't make any sense that they would give us that much for him to then quit. Because when we saw Hannah, we saw Hannah. She said this not the whole episode wasn't about Hannah.
You're right.
But Sean, I feel like Sean was kind of leading the narration of a
Oh
lot
my
of
gosh,
this.
so much of it because that's why it came as such a surprise because even rewatching it again, I was like, did he even hint at quitting like Hannah did earlier on?
No,
No, he was talking strategy the
yes, and
entire
I think
way
he didn't
up.
realize. I think he realized, oh my god, I'm the vote.
You're
And
right.
then it's like, now what do I do?
You're
Do I
right.
go out sad? Do I
Yeah.
beg and plead? He's like, I'm kind of tired of begging and pleading. Maybe if I
Yeah.
do this, it looks like I have some agency. I could see
Yeah.
that.
I could see it too. So I You're so right, because when even rewatching this pre-tribal council, Julie was not really that on board as Dee and J Maya was because of the fact that she was Julie got a little spicy to the camera. She was like, the way you don't go back to tribal council is by not losing. And it's like that's correct. You know, like that is just it. And they had even hinted towards the fact that I mean, you know, Sean comes into the tribe, but we'll see if we lose with him, you know, and it's like they did, and I'm sorry, like even just oh my gosh, the immunity challenge
Yeah.
up that big crate, like I'm like, oh my goodness, like
He single-handedly was the one lifting it up.
come
And he's
on
talking
now.
about now Sifu. Oh, not we can't move past when Sifu hugged Sean by. He asked Sean if he was the one who wrote his name down, and
And,
Sean told him no.
and so it was so funny. I laughed again. He was like, who voted Sifu? Because yeah,
Literally.
I mean, D was a
So then
throw.
he asked Sean, and then Sean said no. He like nah. Opening scene of next episode is going to be Sifu getting to the bottom of who wrote his name down.
Who wrote my name down? And I wonder if anybody is going to come clean.
Who was it? It was D or was it J Maya?
it was D.
I figured.
J Maya and Julie voted Sean. So yeah, no. I would love to hear predictions at the end of who you think if you think D's going to fess up or not. But
Well,
before
I
we
think D. I think D is gonna. Okay, so you haven't seen Australian Survivor.
tell me.
There was a thing that happened like this. Early on, this girl wrote down this guy's name randomly, right? And nobody would have thought it was her. And he kept having assumptions of who he thought it was. And therefore, he kept like wanting to go after this person, like being upset, this and that. And finally, when she got voted out towards the end. And the interview I was listening to was asking her what was the reasoning. And she was like, it directed his attention this way, and now for the rest of the time he was out there, he wanted to get this guy out who I'm not mad at going home. So she
right.
did it to create chaos. But also when you keep asking the guy you were suspecting, he's telling you the truth. He's like, no, no. And now you're just like, he's digging down on it. He's lying. And like, it gets
Right.
weird because they really didn't do it. And they're like, but you're so decided that he did it. And the person who made the vote is just like, yeah, I mean, it's like a secret move you're making. It's kind of crazy.
It is. That's I mean, that's very smart. I mean, oh my
I
goodness.
think Dee did this though because she actually wanted Sifu to go home. I don't think it was a because who does Sifu? I don't know who Sifu might think it is. If I were Sifu, I would think it was D.
I would think
Personally,
it was D
that is
because I would never guess that J Maya was coming for me, like the way that she was. But if
exactly.
I were
Yeah,
D, I would tell him it was J Maya. That's what I would tell him. So because J Maya was coming for him like hard, you know, but I love that as a
and that
strategy.
would be true. So you
It would
don't
be
say J Maya wrote your name down, but you say, "Listen, J Maya threw your name out to me," and that's true.
that is
And
true.
other people know that's true, but she didn't write your name down. But how is she gonna explain I didn't write your name down even though I said your name earlier? Boom, you're right. That's a good one. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yep. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But let's zoom back a bit, you know, to the beginning of the episode. We already talked about the fallout from Sabaya's vote.
And
One piece to add on to what you were talking about as far as Sean feeling super down. Apparently, in his exit interview, he talked about how him and Sabaya had a very, very special connection, and that really, really took him out of the game. But he you know, that was one piece to it. I think that he was very shooketh from that, and it was crazy. I mean, maybe they cut this out of other seasons, but for him to like literally him and Brando to literally say I'm praying for a tribe swap, I'm like, do
I
they
think
say
production fed them that because
they
I
must
agree.
have said them that?
When Sean said it at first, I said that's crazy. I think production gave them something, and then Brando too. I said production had to give them a hint.
Come
Had
on now.
had
Come
to
on now. And
had
I
to.
think that they and you know what? I wonder, I mean, this is a question for you. Are you mad at that so that they could factor that into their plans? Or do you think that there should be an element of surprise?
I would have preferred the surprise because especially it really seems like production fed it to them because there hadn't been a real tribe swap since like the 40s. I mean since 40. So them to say it randomly just felt weird. It would have made more sense for them to be talking about a merge or whatever.
Yeah.
To be talking about a tribe swap, eh, it didn't make a lot of it felt produced.
It did. It did. So I don't know. It was like kind of like, okay, you know, y'all are y'all do what you do, but
Yeah, it
uh
was too on the nose, I think.
it was. It
Mhm.
definitely was. But I I don't know why I wrote this down. I thought that I was going to remember, but I did say after the Lulu aftermath, we go to Blue Tribe, which is this is before the tribe swap, and I was just
Okay.
saying to myself that, oh, you know why? Because I'm on my episode 3 notes. Period. Sorry, push that back. Let's just switch. I was supposed to be like, oh, Kendra was playing smart. I was like, I felt that last episode. Anyways,
Yeah.
to episode 4, we get to the tribe swap, and I really did want to make sure that we read off who was in the new tribes,
Mm,
because I would love to, as we are pushing this down, like, sorry,
mhm,
as we're talking about this, I would love to get your thought process on who is set up in the best position. So, in
mm.
the new red tribe, okay.
Caleb. Caleb. I'll say out of Lulu, Caleb is the winner.
Come on now.
He's always going to be the winner. But
Caleb
out of
is
the Lulu tribe,
so
Caleb is set up nice. I think Emily is in a decent spot too, though.
I mean, yes, like so just to like give context, the new Lulu on what you're talking about, Caleb is doing super well on. The new Lulu includes him and then pretty much everybody that was on Bello. So we have
Mhm.
Katura, we have
Yeah.
Jake, we have Bruce, and we
Mhm.
have Julie. And then
No, wait, no. Kelly, no, is it
is that
Julie?
her
It's
name?
Kelly, right?
Sorry, her
Julie's the
name's
older one,
Kelly. I
right?
keep messing up
Yeah.
her name. Kelly! I'm so sorry, girl. I'm so sorry.
So
Like,
see Kelly, I'm excited, but I'm so sorry. I always forget until I see her.
I know it's like,
I want them.
go
Yeah,
ahead, go.
I want them to give her more.
I
You know,
do.
I want a little bit more Kelly so I can really remember her.
It's so interesting because I also shout out to the Purple Pants podcast because I do listen to that with Bryce and
Mhm.
Wendell. And Wendell made the good point that he thinks that Kelly is getting the Chelsea edit because from his season, because he was saying that like
Um,
Chelsea was playing so hard on his season, but she was so in the shadows.
mm,
Both he didn't even realize how hard she was playing until after they got off the island, but she was in the shadows both on the island and because of production. So he was like, I feel like Kelly is giving Chelsea vibes in that way,
mm. Where
so
does Chelsea end in Wendell's season?
she's like probably I'm gonna mess this up. I think she's like 6th, 7th out. She was definitely post merge,
That
but
makes sense.
she,
I can see
yeah, she didn't make it like to the final 5 or the final 4.
it.
She,
Mhm,
which I think if she had, she probably would have gotten a bigger edit. So Kelly might be. You make a good point that she might be a good player, but she
mhm,
might just not make it all the way to the end.
yeah.
But I do think she's playing a strong game. She made the great point that like I could go with the girls, I could go with the guys. And I thought when we were watching it Wednesday night that she was saying she wanted to get Katura out, but actually I realized that's not what she was saying.
Mhm,
She was reacting to Bruce saying to her that he
mhm.
wanted to get
Yeah,
Katura out, and that Bruce said that
yeah,
she was
yes.
his number one. But she was like, "Do I believe that? I don't know." So what
And
do
a
you think?
quick point on that, Bruce talking about Couture is this episode. I realized he does know Couture doesn't like him.
Oh my gosh, Katura does not
Okay,
make it.
before the swap, or was this? No, it was after the swap when they go back. Not to skip.
That's
When
fine.
Caleb is explaining the puzzles that Brandon did in XYZ that Bruce went on,
No,
she was she was too forceful in being like, Bruce, I want to hear it from Caleb first. Bruce was like, uh-oh, like it's almost like she don't trust me. Da 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 da.
right. It Katara, I wish I could just reach back in the past and talk to
And
old
I also
girl.
think she's the physically the weakest person on that tribe.
You think so?
Who else? Bruce, Caleb,
I was gonna say
Lily,
Jake, but
Jake, Kelly. He's a man. I'm so sorry.
I know. But did you peep in the previews for next episode? He
No.
has another fallout.
Oh no.
He might be getting medically evacuated next episode.
Mm,
Not to speak that over him, but I
yeah.
did notice that.
Yikes. Well, that might save Couture. Unfortunate. Not unfortunate that
Yeah.
he will have a problem, but very fortunate possibly for her.
No, it is, and it's so crazy how Survivor again. A bunch of this is luck, and unluck, So
Yeah.
it's like it really is going to be crazy. That's probably going to shake out that way because right now. yeah, just talking about new Lulu, I do think Caleb is in a great spot. He's in the spot you want to be in. He's in the middle swing vote, and so he's probably going to. He got that information from Katura. I would love to see that they were going to work together, but I think Katura made one big mistake to me, and I wonder what you think about this.
Mhm.
She told him information that was what Caleb was looking for, but we
Mhm.
didn't see her ever say, "Now I wanna make you my number 1. I wanna go to the end with you. I want it to be all the way us to the end." It's like you just gave it to him for what she only said, "Well, this is for your benefit. Like, this is for you to know because, that's what we were all thinking about doing."
Mhm.
No, in everybody else's eyes, they're looking to get you out. So, I feel like the way that Caleb and
Mhm.
anybody really, but that Caleb especially, and she doesn't know this, but we know it, that
Mhm.
Caleb responds to people is if it's a one-to-one dynamic,
Yeah, he's
not
really good at
like
that.
a social thing, you know? What
Mhm.
are your thoughts?
I feel like when 41 was on, speaking of this conversation, do people say you're my number one like that anymore?
Think
And or does it work though? Like, have we seen since post 40 two people say to each other, "You're my number one," and they made it to the final together?
um,
I
well, I mean, I think that it's like one of those things, bear with me, that it's good to really say pre-merge. Now, I think it's because we've seen now a couple of different times post 40 where you have the Shauna Ricards, you have the Cody and Jesse's, even the Carla and Cassie, even though it was really Carla and James. Like you have these pairs that are able to get at least to the merge and then
see.
figure out some way to turn on each
I
other.
say that to say because you were talking about Shan earlier. A big thing that stuck out to me when I was listening to podcasts about 41. Fun fact: the Australian Survivor podcast I listen to, Ricard is one of the hosts because apparently he can't talk
Ooh!
about Survivor yet. They have like NDAs, I guess they can't talk about real Survivor yet, like as their own. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, he was saying in his interview, like when he went out, when he decided to flip on Shan, he made that decision because he was like, yeah, we have been this pair, we have been together since the beginning, but we never looked at each other and said, "You're my number one," or when we get to this number, we're doing this. Like they had never said to each other's
Ooh.
number one, even though they had been together from day one and they had this understanding, like they had never said it. And Shan, when you listen to Shan speak, Shan says, "I thought we knew." Like Shan was under the assumption of, I don't have to say it because look at where we've gotten and look at how we're working, and you know what I mean. And Ricard's like, she never
Yeah.
said it, and I thought this was a time she could go.
I mean, he wasn't wrong. Like, that was the
He
perfect
wasn't
time for
wrong.
him to, like,
He
get
wasn't
her
wrong.
out.
The true question is, had she said you're my number one, or had they said you're my number one to each other, would that have changed when he decided to flip on her?
I don't know. I really wonder then if Cody and Jesse ever said, "You're my number 1, we're going all the way to," and they were definitely acting like it.
I think
Um,
Jesse said you're my number one to probably everybody, and that's a difference. I think Jesse said, if Jesse said it, he said it to all of them.
I think so too, and I think that that's what got him, best player of the year, of that season. So I don't know. I really was, well, even if she didn't say you're my number 1, I was really looking for Katura to take the initiative and say something about, let's have an alliance. I want to pull you in. I don't just want to tell you what's going on in the tribe, gossip, tell you that Bruce is on the bottom. No, I'm giving you this information because I want to work with you throughout the game
They need
and
to take
stuff
notes
like
from Tony. Remember, he was very good at being like, "Oh, we're cops, we're this, we're that." It's a Big Brother thing too. All Big Brother alliances get names.
that.
Start
Yes.
naming them. Give y'all something like that brings y'all together. Somebody who was good at that was
David versus Goliath.
Nick.
Nick,
Yep,
yes, yes,
him.
that's exactly who I
That's
think
an
about.
effective thing. Give it something. Give it a name outside of yourselves. Give it a connection. I do think people should get back to that, but I don't know how effective, because what we're seeing, and we think about the last few seasons, we had Jam Jam and Carolyn. They
Yeah,
have been together from day one.
yes.
In theory, they show us. In theory, they show us what Shan and Ricard could have been
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
had they never flipped. And I feel like we had it happen again.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know, but you know what I mean. It's like,
yeah. It is what it is.
or did
I
Carolyn and Jam Jam say? Did Carolyn and Jam Jam ever say you're my number one?
I don't know. This is where it's like I would be down for a rewatch just so we could see particularly for this strategy, does it actually work out or does it not, you know? So, yeah, it was just something that I had noticed, but I completely agree with you. Caleb is set up sweet. He's in like the perfect pre-merge spot because obviously he's super strong, so they're not going to vote him out for that, and he's super charismatic, and so that's working in his favor too. I actually think that it's great that he was swapped over with Bello members versus Reba, because Reba was already like, oh no, Caleb too big of a player,
Yes.
whereas
Like if he would
Bello
have got with Drew, if he would have got on Drew's tribe, I think Drew would have been gunning for him.
target number one, so yeah, no, I just think that everything kind of worked out in Caleb's favor for now. We'll see how things go merge, but they're not going to tribal council anytime soon, in my opinion.
Something I
The
think, which is
yellow.
crazy. Tell me what you think about it. And given I'm obsessed with her, so maybe I lean towards the Survivor players I really like. I could see Caleb having a Kim Spradlin effect in the sense of people know he's really good and everybody is going to lose to him, but they like him so much that they might let him make it to the end.
It happens. We were talking about it, like, just to let the audience in on some of the conversations we had on Wednesday.
He got
We
the
were
tea,
talking
baby.
about yes, we were getting some tea, and the tea taught us, oftentimes just as, sitting on the couch, fans watching this, we're thinking about why aren't they voting for people that have the best strategy, or why aren't they voting off people that, are having the best strategy? And it's like, it's because they like them. It's because you don't want to
Yes.
be sitting on an island with people that you really, really don't like. It's like, I I don't I mean, some people will do that, but it really does contextualize when you go back and look at things. I mean, even from early, very, very early on seasons, people vote for who they like. I think that's why Wendell won. I think that's why, we know that's why Wendell won. That's why Gabler definitely won. It's like
Yes.
you want to give it to somebody who has earned it. So I think that the most precarious time period for Caleb is most definitely going to be post merge, and definitely like those first few moments post merge. But we'll see how it's definitely, I agree with you. It's going to be between him versus Drew and Austin. Like that's going to be the big showdown once we get
Yes.
there. And
But you know who I think is going to bring Caleb through it? Emily.
I think so much, because I think that
Because
she's
Emily's
going
on
to
the
be
tribe with
able.
Drew and them, right? Emily's on the tribe with Drew and them.
So let's talk about it. They are on New Reba. No,
Hmm.
they're on New Bello. And it's
Yeah.
the most mixed. It's the most mixed tribe. So we have two old Reba in Drew and Austin. We have two old Bello in Kendra and who was the other old Bello? Kendra and
Mhm.
uh who is it? There's a
And then we have
paternity.
Emily.
Brando,
Oh, Brando.
Kendra and Brando, and he didn't get much screen time other than that one confessional. And then we have Emily, and we see Emily get pulled over to Austin Drew. Before that, how proud were you of Emily
Yeah.
using the skills, the social skills that she learned from Caleb to just present as a normal person? What do you think about that?
What's so funny about it, and this is what I observe. It's seeing Emily like this, it almost feels like watching a kid like going to school for the first time. It's like she's going into kindergarten. And like the first week, maybe you're crying for your mom every day. Or
Yeah.
maybe the second week you made a friend who hangs out with you. That was Caleb. And now in your third week, your first friend taught you how to make other friends, and now you're out here. We're
Yeah.
seeing the progression of Emily each week, and something that really stands out to me about her, the first episode or first couple, kind of tried to paint her as a villain. And I think what we're seeing now is she is so quick. If somebody's nice to her, I think like it's like she almost lashes on. Like she's so
Oh my
appreciative,
gosh, yes.
and she says it out loud to them. And what I'm worried about is that people will catch on to this and exploit it.
True.
Cause I don't think Caleb will, because I think she did something so big for Caleb
Oh,
that I
yeah.
think now they're both ingratiated to each other.
Yes.
So I think they're on even footing. But to
Mhm.
these new people, you haven't done anything for them yet.
No.
And you're coming in giving them the upper hand, being like, oh my God, thank you so much for being nice. Like, oh my God, I want to work. Like, oh my, like
Yeah.
it's almost too uncool for school, right?
Yeah.
And somebody like Drew. I don't think
Oh,
Austin is.
yeah.
Somebody like Drew, I think, could exploit that. And
Oh
that's
my
what I would
gosh,
want
yes.
that's what I would wanna be watching in these next few episodes of, like, Emily, how you say she sees something, say something, she does it for herself. She feels something, she say it out loud.
Yep.
She has to learn what to say, what not to say a little bit.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that I could see just doing a little bit of fan fiction here, but I could see the storyline of she gets in close with Austin and Drew. She's feeling good. This takes her into this takes her into merge because I do predict that we're going all over the place, but I do predict that this new tribe of Drew this new Bello tribe
Mhm.
is going to go to tribal council pre-merge. Like I think it's going to be between Reba and Bello. Now Lulu's going to be on the up and up. I don't see them
I
losing
agree.
pre-merge. I think it's going to be like either or Reba or Bello, new
Mhm.
Reba, new Bello, and I think that they are going to Asta Drew and
Emily?
um, Emily are going to work together to
I
stay in the
agree.
game.
I agree with that.
Then once they get back on the beach, I do think that she's going to try to bring in Caleb. Whenever Austin and Drew are not down for that, I think she's going to work with Caleb though. I don't see why she wouldn't because their games are slightly different. Like they in her to me at least, the game that I see Emily tried to play feels a little too similar to Drew. Like I wouldn't want Emily if I were Emily, I wouldn't want to be sitting next to Drew
Mm.
at the very end.
I agree with you. I think sitting at home it's easy to see that, but I think Emily doesn't think of herself in that way, and I don't think Emily will see that connection. Maybe
Fair.
Drew will see that connection. But again, Emily's biggest flaw is going to be that she cannot get past kind of what other I'm not even sure she understands how other people view her.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
can't get
that's
past that.
fair.
Like we're not even getting to 301. I'm unsure she understands how people are viewing her and receiving her.
Yeah,
Because I think she's so focused on like trying to come out her shell and like make a friend and like not be alone. Like she know what it feel like to be alone, and she knows she didn't like that. And so now
yeah,
she's really trying to keep up these good feelings of like having allies. And now that Caleb is gone, he was her security blanket. So she's
yeah,
she's desperately trying to find another one.
yeah.
That's what worries me is that like it's she's almost we thought she was this villain. She's playing so pure almost though. She's
Oh
really
my goodness.
pure, you know.
No, it and I love it for her. I feel like it's comfortable for her, but I do think that she's gonna fall down a couple more times before she learns that lesson. So I completely agree with you there. I just have to bring up some personality things
Please.
into here. I thought that in my head, her, Austin, and Drew kind of gave me the thinking alliance when we're thinking
Mm,
about Myers Briggs
yep.
because it's like she found her people. She had previously been on a tribe with all the feelers, including Caleb. Caleb is a
Yeah.
feeler
That's
himself.
true.
He gives me ENFJ vibes to the max. But Emily gives me INTJ, and she
Mm,
gives me T as well. Like specifically, I think that
mhm.
Drew is a T. I think that Austin is also a T. I don't think that Austin he seems the most charismatic out of the three, but
Yeah.
I don't think that he gives me feeler vibes. I think that's why him and Drew connect because they both are thinking and they can see it's very logical for us specifically to work together
Right.
because we can both in a sense sit at the end with each other and still have different enough stories. They give me Cody and Jesse vibes so much, so it's like
Interesting.
so I think that I don't know, they just give me the thinkers of the crew. But yeah.
From what
But
I remember of Austin, and I think maybe it's because he's next to Drew, it's still giving me Steven and JT.
I mean, yeah, Drew's definitely far in a way more
And so
analytic.
the question is JT a thinker?
I think so. Like, I think that the thing though that I'm
Okay, then
not
that's
really,
a hot take. Okay, then yeah.
but see, the thing is, I could see JT being a feeler, just
Hmm.
simply off the straight that he, to me, and maybe it's because he was getting the winner's edit. To
Right.
me, he was just seeming way more charismatic than Austin is right now. I have not seen Austin
That's true.
forming all of these social
That's true.
bonds like JT.
Caleb is more JT in that sense.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I could
Yeah.
see JT being a feeler more even more than Austin because Austin is just whenever I see him on the screen, he is talking strategy. He's not
You don't
talking.
think you don't think the E is what goes to the charisma?
Yeah, I definitely think. I think that like Whereas Drew, oh my gosh, thank you for asking. I'm so sorry. I just got picked up about that. Whereas Drew and Emily, I would probably categorize as ITs. I
Mhm.
do think that Austin is giving ET, you
Okay.
know. It's so interesting because even when we're thinking about dimensional, are you on dimensional?
Mm-mm.
I'm going.
It had a lot of questions, girl. I was like, "What's happening?"
I wanna get you through dimensional, but me and Jazz are just gonna bully you. Shout out to Hunter Jazz. But either way, they describe ETs as a bit more warmer than ITs are. So
Mm.
I think that that is and you're right, with JT, that could also be the case too. I just think that whether it was the winner's edit or not, everybody on
They
Token
loved them.
Seeds
Yeah.
loved him. And he gave that feeler sort of energy. So yeah, I don't know. I think that the piece with Austin and Drew that gives me Steven Fishback and
JT.
JT is that they both just come off with different masculine energies. Like
Yes.
Drew
Yes.
gives very much the scientific magician sort of energy, whereas Austin gives very broy,
Yep.
I don't know,
Get his
warrior.
hands dirty. Get his hands dirty. Yeah.
Yes, very warrior-esque. So, yeah, I just that's what, I think the connection points are to versus the versus the thinking and feeling. So, either way, I'm calling them the thinking alliance. Any other
Okay, I
thoughts
love that.
on
Yes, because they need to give themselves a name because the people aren't naming the alliances anymore.
I'm like, maybe so we'll
Yeah.
name you. Were there any other thoughts though about New Bello?
Which is Emily's tribe, right?
Yeah.
No, I
Okay.
just no. Because who you said Kendra and Brando? What's Kendra and Brando doing?
We didn't get much from them, honestly, this
Yes, we
episode,
did.
and I worry that my
Brando
winner
might get the
pick.
first vote. When Bello goes to tribal, it might be Brando.
It might be Brando, and I worry for baby boy because Kendra's a strong
She
uh
is.
challenge play.
She
And I
is.
noticed that again this episode. I was like, Kendra's pulling through for them. So
Yeah.
my winner pick, y'all. I'm
Brando
hoping,
is probably the weakest on that tribe. If you're speaking physicality,
yeah, yeah. So we'll see. And then we already did start with New Reba. I'm trying to see if there was yeah, okay, so how crazy was it? We didn't even mention this. How
hmm
crazy was it? Last episode we were like, "Oh yeah, J Maya and Sifu are probably working with each other." To see J Maya like turn on
hmm
Sifu, not turn. It just seemed like she wasn't trusting from the beginning. My jaw dropped to the floor. How did you feel about that?
talk about J Maya wanting to get rid of Sifu.
Yes.
Well, what's interesting is if we actually think about it, that's not the first time J Maya says she wanted Sifu gone.
You're right.
And the first time I saw it, I thought I don't know who she was speaking to the first time I saw it, but I was like, is this a ploy? Is this to throw people off? Like, I don't know. Then once I saw this episode, I said, oh no, she means it. But then if you pay attention to the edit, they then started showing Sifu. He playing air guitar. He's every
Yeah.
time we see Sifu, it's like when they did the Couture monologues and Bruce being
Yeah.
annoying. We saw J Maya say it should be Sifu, and next scene is Sifu being annoying.
Yeah.
Um, and what I think will be really interesting is what's going to win, wanting to
Yeah.
win challenges or being annoyed at camp. Because I do think the reason they want him gone is strictly personality.
Yeah.
I don't think it's because he can't do the work. He's untrusted. I think they are tired of him,
They are.
and that's what I wonder about Sifu. Though, is did Sifu know it was they were feeling this way until tribal? He really seemed genuinely surprised that his name was written down.
I definitely think it was just until tribal. And it's very interesting. Rob also brought this up too, that like see Julie and Dean know that Sifu doesn't have the idol. Jay Maya keeps making this point, he might have the idol, he might have the idol. I'm like, girl,
Yeah,
you
you're
want
right.
him to have the idol so
Does
bad.
that mean J Maya is they tar? Are they working with J Maya?
No, they're definitely not working with her on the same level that they're working with each other, or they're working with Austin and Drew at this point. But because they didn't tell Jay Maya that see at least that we didn't see that Sifu does not have the idol, because then that would have been telling her that Drew and Austin did. So
Maybe J Maya. So originally, J Maya and Sifu were both on the bottom of original. what was it,
Reba.
Red Tribe?
Reba, yeah.
So maybe that's why the first time I saw J Maya say she wanted Sifu out, she was already trying to save herself. She knows she at the bottom. She know he at the bottom. And
Uh,
him rather than me. But now I think, okay, she's probably still at the bottom,
yeah.
and she knows he's annoying. But what I don't get is in this new concoction of a tribe, she could have decided to work with Sifu. But
She could have.
yeah, but I think it's because he's annoying. I don't. I
I
think
think
she
it
thinks nobody
was
else will want to work with him. And
yes,
I
and I
think,
think oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
nobody's making alliances with him or anything. Nobody's talking to him. I've never seen him
No.
talk game.
Me neither. We are only seeing Sifu in, like, the TV character sort of president. Sorry for
Yeah,
interrupting you so much. I got
no,
so excited
no, I'm
that,
sorry.
like, I think no, no, no. I think that Jay Maya, really, really got so excited that Sean specifically was swapped into her kid because I think that she, to your point, was like, "I'm on the bottom. I'm trying to throw Sifu under the bus, but now I'm not just trying to throw Sifu under the bus. Now I can have my own number one in Sean." And like she lashed onto them. I love that they didn't say it outright, but it seemed like they had like an East Asian, Southeast Asian sort of connection to them as well. And like that they felt like more like home with each other. And watching the know-it-alls. I really agree with Steven that it's like, Sean, you going home is not just, bowing out of your own game, but that does impact the players around you. Now Jay Maya is not left with as many options. Now she's left with Seafood, this player that she was throwing under the bus that and Dee and Julie know and they can use that as leverage for her against her with Seafood. Um, and she knows that she's not going to break up Julie and Dee. She knows that they're a pair too. So Shaw leaving the game really took out her own options of having a number one and and potentially being able to move a little bit deeper into the game.
The
So
only option for her now, though, is she got to work with those women.
she's got to work with them. She's got
So
to ingratiate
are
herself.
they willing to get rid of their strongest physical body to stay
I
with
doubt it.
Jaya?
Julie definitely isn't. Julie definitely isn't. And honestly, I mean, everybody keeps teasing the women's alliance. I feel like even the players at this point are teasing women's alliances because I don't think anybody's really taking that seriously. We'll see. We'll see at the merge,
I
but
think it emerges when it'll be
you know,
relevant.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. But either way, that really does wrap up all of the episode. What did you wind up rating this episode?
Before the end, it was a good episode. I thought it was
Yeah,
exciting. I thought the tribe stop was great.
yeah,
This episode had everything you wanted,
yeah,
except it had a quit, which I think
yeah.
is a huge dampening on it. So, like, it's probably a 2.5 again. I will say the
Yeah.
experience of watching it was a 12 out of 10 because
Yes.
it was a Survivor event. So I'll probably never forget this episode ever in my life because
Yeah.
it's we watched this Survivor event. However, I hate that it had to end the way it ended.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was settling on the number of 3 because of that quit. It does disappoint me. I think that I'm trying to work my way around the fact that Jeff said that this new era is going to be much harder than what there was before. So I'm like, do we just need to start anticipating quits because of the fact that they have
Mm.
this new Flint rule and they're not given pretty
Get
much
rid of the flint rule. Give them they
I don't
flint
get
back.
it. I don't get it because you're not giving them any supplies anyway. So
You know
it's
what's
like,
crazy? I saw, not to cut you off.
oh,
I saw somebody who played in the new era saying that Chanel from 41.
yes, 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 yes.
No,
I know exactly who you're
I
talking
think
about.
her
I
name's
forgot
Chanel
what
Howard, but you know who I'm talking
was
about.
from 42
Yeah,
in Marianne season. Yes,
was she? Okay, yeah, with Drea. You know somebody I loved and I never talk about anymore, Drea. But anyway,
Maria.
put that on the shelf. Um, Chanel was saying, hot take. She doesn't believe fire is necessary in this new era of Survivor. She was talking to Tyson. Matter of fact, she was. I guess Tyson has a podcast.
Yeah, he does.
Chanel was talking to Tyson, and she said, "Hot take. I don't believe that fire is necessary in this new era." And Tyson said, "You know what? I could see that, but that's crazy to me."
That's wild. Fire's life.
But
Fire's
apparently,
life.
she said, "Listen, these are the reasons she gave." She said, "Listen, they don't give us food anymore to begin with." She said, "We don't have to boil our water, which would be very important. We don't have to boil our water." And she
Why?
said, because they have it at a well, their water's already clean.
Okay.
So they don't have to boil water. They haven't had to do that for a long time. Okay.
I don't do that.
And
Okay.
then she said, if you get fishing supplies, she was like, they want fishing supplies on her season, on her tribe. They might have tried fishing that first day. She was like, but you're already so tired because you're not eating no matter what. That
Right.
fishing takes a lot out of you. So you don't even want to fish. So she was saying like she don't doesn't really think the fire is that necessary. But
Wow.
what Tyson, a good point Tyson made, or maybe it was Fishback on another one, is the tribes that don't have fire, like Lulu, sitting around the fire is a big place where people bond and make and you talk and you do this and tending to the fire is a whole thing. So camp life declines if you don't have a fire, even if you don't think it's necessary for boiling water and food and XYZ.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't get it. Fire's not necessary, and y'all saying fire is life.
But you see though, it we'll anticipate it next episode. Let's do like a little test, y'all,
Yeah.
because I like that they made kind of an emphasis on fire when Emily finally got it. Even with Caleb when Caleb finally got it, they made sure to emphasize that. I also have to shout out. I love the fact that they this is the first time I've ever seen that after the immunity challenge. Usually we just go back and we only cover the losing tribe before tribal council. But now that we have the 90-minute episodes, we were
Hmm.
able to go back and see each of them experience, like fire, for the first time. Or sorry, at least Caleb experienced fire for the first time. But we saw earlier in the episode with Emily, and she was just like, wow, this really feels like the true survivor experience, having this fire tending to it, like you just said. So I
Here's
wonder. Okay.
my hot take is Chanel is saying you don't really need fire. Number one, it sounds like her tribe had fire. That's a
Oh my
first.
gosh.
That's an important data point. Two,
They were
the
winning.
players are adapting to not having fire because they don't have the flint and nobody's willing to work hard enough to start up a fire another way.
Right.
It's not because it's not necessary you don't need it. If we see the tribe that doesn't get fire is the tribe that continues to lose and continues to
Yes.
go to tribal and be two people at the end.
Yes. And
It
that's
may not
period.
be yeah, it may not be necessary in the sense of, oh, I'm gonna die out here. They're not gonna let you die out there.
No,
But you are in a worse position if you do not have fire
I completely
because fire's life. So maybe you're living, but your quality of life is way down. So I
true.
don't know. I think they should give them back Flint, and I think they should give them some rice.
I think they should get like
Give them some
again,
rice.
I will say it again, I like seeing survivors eat. It's entertaining to me. I
And I'm
can't
tired of the
explain
people passing out and everybody's crying all the time. They're all like too. They are not like they're too. Their system is too jolted.
exactly. Um, Rob has always made the good point. He's like, we don't come to Survivor to really see them survive. I mean, yes, it's cool. It's cool to see them out on the beach. It's cool to see them, make fire, all that stuff. But that's the point. Like, I want them to have camp supplies so we can see them do what Wendell did, make a whole castle for themselves. I want to see them, like make food for themselves, go out fishing like Rupert did.
Climb
So
a
like,
tree. Get a
but
chicken. Give them some chickens that they
get
could.
them chickens again. Like,
Remember
that's the
when
stuff.
once I think Pearl Islands they got a sewing machine because they only could wear the clothes on their back and they got so many like give them something to do at camp. That's another reason
Thank
that camp life
you.
is so boring. I don't know.
And we
Yeah,
only see them talk about strategy. So I think I mean, obviously Survivor keeps iterating. It to me at least, it keeps getting better in this new era. So hear us now, producers. Hopefully there's more people sounding the alarm. Give them more to do at Camp Life. We'll give a better episode rating. But
give them some
this one
food.
would have
Yeah,
gotten, yeah, this one would have probably gotten a 4 from me if Sean hadn't quit, because
yeah. It was a
seeing
great episode.
it was a great episode. It just that really dampened it, and I can understand why, more survivors might be quitting. I agree. Let's get rid of the Flint rule. I don't get it. I don't care. Give them Flint. I don't care.
And here's the thing: a season that stands out to me about Survivor on hard mode and like they was really surviving Africa
I was about to say Australia too. Not Australia. Was it Australia? Yeah, the
season
second
two.
season. Yeah,
Yeah,
season 2.
yeah.
Both.
Season
Both.
three, season three, they was staying up at night in shifts because they was afraid of wild animals. Baby, I don't want to see nobody survive that hard.
No.
I want to watch television. I don't want to be afraid they're gonna die.
Thank you. That's not why I'm here. I'm here for the alliances, for the
They had to go get water. If you were season three is the only season that's never been near water.
it was
They,
crazy.
they were landlocked in
Yeah,
the desert. And
it was wild.
nobody says season three is their favorite season. I never heard it in my life.
I've
Until
never heard it. I mean, Ethan's one of our favorite winners,
I
but
love
it's not
Ethan,
like
great winner.
I would
Season two
never
is hard. Great
rewatch it.
winner. Nobody wants to. Nobody is going back to rewatch season three just for fun.
only the people that have, like, really strong emotional connections to, like, that moment in time.
Maybe yes, I agree. I do agree. If that's the first season you watch and now you're a big fan or XYZ, sure.
But
Nobody
I
that has seen them all in like a recent time period is going back and being like, you know what, season 3 was the one for me. And that's because they were
oh,
surviving too hard.
too hard. Like,
Too hard.
even, them going back to, dang, what was Vesepia's season called? But
Yeah. It was
I
season
know
4.
it was 4, but I'm trying to remember where they were,
Right.
uh, but either way, season 4, even that I would go back to because
Yeah.
they did a lot of strategy, like, that was strategic
And
of
they
a
weren't
scene.
like they were surviving, but it wasn't that. And we had just come off the heels of season 3, which was in the desert of Africa. Seeing Vecepia season, like, oh, thank the Lord, they got water and it's
Right,
greenery and
right?
rain. It was a
Yes.
lot better. Yeah.
So cool. So no, yeah, I'm hoping that we just get a bit more cooler rewards, please.
Give them
We'll
real
see
food.
about that.
When they win a reward, don't just give them fruit. Give them some meat and potatoes,
Something,
almond butter,
something.
peanut butter, and jam. Give them something with some sustenance and some protein.
Like, do y'all hate the production?
Pizza, a burger, some fresh anything.
We'll hope for it. We'll hope for it. But what are some of your biggest predictions for episode 5 and the rest of the season?
Hmm. In what I can think, I think Couture's in trouble
Yeah.
if she goes to tribal. I think Brando's in trouble if he goes to tribal.
Yep.
I think Caleb is in a great position.
Yep.
I think Emily right now is in a great position, but I think Emily need to watch her honesty
Back.
actually.
Yeah.
Um that's really it. I think Seafood needs to adjust,
Oh yeah. I think
and I
he's
don't know how he can.
I think he's gonna start to. I'm excited to see because now he's forced to have to play, or
He's going
we're
to have
forced
to.
to have to see his strategic move. I wrote here next time seafood equals mad.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Um Austin also randomly equals mad. I don't know what's gonna happen on Red Tribe, but I do see them going to tribal council next time because I don't know what would make Austin that upset for him to be so mad on the next time. And then, unfortunately, my one sad prediction is, yeah, I do think Jake is going to be medically
Yeah, that sucks.
evacuated. And that really sucks. I don't know what is going to be the cause of it, but it looks like he falls out again for some weird reason. And yeah, I think that's not going to be fun. So I do see that he's going to go. I think that Red's gonna lose. They're gonna go all the way to tribal council. He's gonna fall out, and he's going to be
And
the
they both
one person. Yeah, everybody else is safe. He's just the one that goes home. So I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna see a true vote
what if
out for.
because we had so many quits and then a medevac was gonna be boring? What if Jeff still lets them vote? Like, yeah, he went home and you're still gonna go to tribal and vote somebody out.
He could because then, but I just wonder because we've been having over the last few seasons like that double vote out when they split the tribes up
Yeah,
post merge.
yeah.
So I wonder if they'll hopefully they do sacrifice that because that one always takes out some of the. It just always seems unfair whenever they do that particular vote out, and
That's
that's
one of
not.
the most important votes of the season.
Yeah, it is, but it's sometimes winds up being so skewed, that I personally haven't really liked that in the new show's format. But we'll see. If they choose to sacrifice that, I could see them voting next episode because they still have to fill up 13 episodes. So
Yeah, and all
we'll
these people are I don't know. They gotta do something.
they'll do. I know because I mean I don't know if we'll see a true vote out for 2 more
That's the
episodes.
thing.
It
That's the
sucks.
thing. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, I don't have any big predictions. I can't yeah, I don't have any big I want people to stop quitting. I would like this to be the last quit of this season, please.
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 Please. I
Please.
can't take it anymore, but yeah, this definitely was a fun episode to watch at the very least, to experience. Shout out again to Bryce Wynn. Shout out to Rob as well for Rob Has a Podcast. It is his birthday today. And
Oh, right.
yes, happy birthday to Rob. Thank you so much to everything that you do for us fans in the community. Yeah, that wraps up our Hot Nerd Network recap of
Mhm.
the fourth episode of Survivor Season 45. Thank you again, Hot Nerd Krystal, for coming and giving us your wonderful expertise, your wonderful visions, and everything like that. It's just so fun being able to talk with you every week about some good old Survivor. And yeah, thank you to everybody who is watching continuously week over week, joining us, and if you're here, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated on all things nerdy. Remember to check out the suggested videos at the end of this one. And yeah, until next time, may the best nerd win. Bye.